Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have everyone on board here. Focus on my face. This is get back. Okay. Here with Dallin Anderson at High Altitude Investing. Today we are going to be going over the markets. I've live streamed with him. You guys probably remember him from the Midway podcast if you've actually been watching this channel for a long time. So he's the person who got me into crypto. We did all of our trading together. Got in our first apartment, my first apartment, and a lot of fun stuff over the last decade. Basically, you've been in crypto for like 10 years now, and mine has been 9 years. So we've been in here for a while, and we figured that today would be a fun time to go over the charts, look at some different things, projects he's watching, things that I'm looking at, and then just go over your guys' questions that you might have. So make sure everything's good. I got different Wi-Fi, so I don't know if you guys ever had any issue with me streaming. I don't think I had any issues, but now we got Starlink, so we're rocking with Elon Musk nowadays. So yeah, but down, go ahead.
Instant speeds. We can play Call of Duty Black Ops now with no lag. Because when you live in Utah in the middle of nowhere, you can't play video games unless you have Starlink.
So. Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. I've had the most so when I first started my YouTube channel, every single day I would have to, because I lived with my grandma in her basement. So when I was I'd have to upload, and it would take literally 2.5, 3 hours to upload a video to YouTube. So I used to have to record my video at my house, and then I'd drive to Dallin's house and then upload it off of his internet. And that was basically what we did every single day for like a few years, honestly.
Yep, I remember that.
Good to see the boys back again.
By the way, you say I'm the one that got you into crypto, but really the real shout out goes to my little brother Caleb, who watched a Watch Mojo video in 2014 about Bitcoin. He told me about it. So
the good old days. Watch Mojo. Man. I haven't heard of them in a long time.
Hustle Farms 420. There's a good name.
All this super cycle talk got me wrecked last time. Well, Brian, we're early. This is the super cycle. We didn't have institutions in the last cycle, so it couldn't have been an institutional super cycle, so to speak. Anyone got any news on PulseChain? Oh, we've got the news. We've always got the news. PulseChain about to rip. Well, actually, PTGC has been breaking all-time high after all-time highs. Yeah, honestly, the whole ecosystem is blowing up. It's pretty nice to see. Got any D.I.Y? Yes, I do have a giant bag of D.I.Y. Hope you guys listened and bought into that as well, because we're up massively. Good to see you guys together. Thank you, my friend Arthur.
Yeah, he watches my streams too.
Sweet.
So good to see you, man.
Cool. Well, we've got a few people in here. Let's jump into some charts. Let's look at some stuff. Go take a peek at what is taking place inside of the crypto markets. Boom. Cheeto is pumping again. I sold all mine at the top of this move. Not all of it, but
you guys, just so you know, I have a short position open on XRP, and I'm kind of scared right now because the markets look like they're breaking out. So
speaking of XRP, let me remove this.
It's only a short-term swing trade. I'm super bullish, you guys.
So XRP finally broke out. The day that we've talked about extensively for like 6 years is finally here. I bought XRP June. March, April, May, June. So probably the top of this fake breakout. So like 2,000 days of holding before it finally did the thing that we've talked about. But it's here. So my big thought is if XRP is finally doing this, you should have total confidence that everything else is most likely going to be doing the same thing. Because realistically, XRP is the one dinosaur coin that everybody thought was just a scam. So if this dinosaur coin can instantly do a 5x out of nowhere, I think it really goes to show that this cycle is different. Because considering, if we go all the way back to XRP, all we're doing is just repeating the exact same pattern of these first cycles, where you have the first hype, cycle top, full retrace, then you get this little lower high. And this long-term consolidation was exactly the same that we went through before that 2017 cycle when everything went crazy. And I do firmly believe that the consolidation that we've had up to that point, top, full retrace, lower high, and then all this sideways action. I do believe that we're just following the exact same sort of similarities as that 2017 cycle. We have a lot of new adoption. I think that for this cycle, it really just comes down to the institutional adoption, the regulatory clarity. All of those things are the big catalysts for appreciation this cycle. And in 2016, we just really kind of had like the first little existence of certain altcoins. So I think that we're getting kind of a similar reflection going into this cycle, where it's going to behave a lot more like what we saw in 2017. And with XRP kind of showing this type of price action, it kind of is lining up perfectly with that.
Yeah, it does look exactly like 2017. And the reason why the last cycle was such a scam for some of these older coins is because of the bigger picture accumulation that was taking place and the big institutions accumulating it and holding down the price as long as they could to get as big of a position as they could before the next 2017 like bull run, which is what I think is happening.
Yeah, I mean, everything is pretty much
so much like one.
Yeah, it's insane how bullish everything is. I mean, there's a lot of tokens that are breaking out. Some of the other ones from the last cycles, AVE is a prime example of one that's just currently breaking out. Massive accumulation, rounded bottom formation, just finally starting to get that lift up. I mean, we've been through a normal, typical market cycle, and it doesn't really matter what coin you're looking at. Even old dinosaur coins from, that 2017 cycle are pretty much doing the exact same things. Like, look at Bitcoin Cash, for an example, pretty much following along with what I drew a long time ago. But, Bitcoin Cash is one that everybody kind of looks at as like, slightly a scam, I guess, because Roger Ver is a little bit weird. But for the most part, all of these tokens that everybody hates the most are obviously holding support, making higher highs, accumulating. And the thing about Bitcoin Cash, I mean, this is literally listed on like PayPal and all of Robinhood and all of those major like places, I guess you could say. So a lot of these tokens that are from 2017 that people have just completely forgot about, just don't even think of anymore, they're all looking like they're about to start a brand new cycle. And, when we're looking at accumulations that have taken place for like 2,000 plus days, the amount of upside potential that's going to happen, in my opinion, it really will look like 2017, because considering these things will start breaking out and they'll run into these new all-time highs like this, and they'll have these big parabolic cycles, and we will inevitably have some type of a crash, and it's probably going to be the worst bear market ever. But we're actually seeing all of like the oldest of coins that haven't done anything for a long time. They're reversing. They're obviously uptrending throughout this time. And I do firmly believe that they're going to make pretty big breakouts that are going to surprise a lot of people. XRP is just kind of the first one, because XRP, as much as it's gotten hate, it really is one of the best established projects out there and always has been. It has more regulatory clearance than virtually all the projects. It's been working side by side with banks and governments and institutions for the whole time. So seeing XRP break out, people are like, oh, well, why XRP? Well, it's because it was always valuable, and, people just fudded it and obviously provided zero value for people that missed out. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the super cycle, because all of the tokens that didn't really do anything in the last cycle are about to be making new, runs as well. So maybe the ROI isn't as big as what they had in their first 2017 cycle, but realistically, we're going to be looking at having an insane amount of, profit to be generated throughout whichever token that you're actually trading.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if all of these coins are going to break out and get super overvalued and go crazy for like an institutional run, that really speaks to the fact of how big the bull market's going to be, but also how big the bear market's going to be after all of this. Because let's be honest, it's going to be the biggest bull market since 2017, and in a lot of ways bigger because of the infrastructure and everything, even if some of the percentage gains aren't as big as some of the stuff in 2017. Meme coins probably will be some of the bigger percentage.
Well, any new launching project will be just as big as the 2017 gains. The old projects like the Trons, the XRPs, the Bitcoin Cashes, obviously their ROI is not going to be as big because they're already worth multiple billions. But, even with that being said, had you have accumulated Tron just over here before this recent run, it literally just pumped 4x just straight into a new all-time high. So the fact that this is already worth multi-billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars in market cap, and it's able to just do an instant 4x green candle, I think that people have severely underestimated the ability, I think people have severely underestimated just how much money is going to be coming into the cycle. How most people look at the market caps as being like the end all do all evaluation, when realistically, market cap is almost like a flawed metric, because the amount of tokens that exist, the amount of total supply, but then the amount of total supply that you can actually go out and buy, because there's only so much of a supply of these tokens that you can go out and purchase from liquidity pool providers, from centralized exchanges. And we've already seen, I don't remember which exchange it was, I think it was Binance. They literally had to close withdrawals for a big meme coin. I think it was Pepe, because they genuinely ran out of supply to be able to, allow people to trade it. So we're going to see supply shocks, and that's what happens. That's the reason why these tokens go up so much. You see maximum amount of demand. You see smart money's already came in and gobbled up most of the supplies. So everybody else is kind of fighting for these little scraps in the liquidity pools. Well, when those even start to shrink, the price just literally has nothing to do besides go vertical. So, the market caps of these things are going to get ballooned to hundreds of billions. Maybe even we could see Ethereum hitting $1 trillion in market cap. We don't know for certain exactly what they'll hit, but I do firmly believe that the valuations of these things are going to get ballooned into proportions nobody thought possible. Market cap people will realize that they should have been focusing on other things rather than just market cap, because when they're looking at something being worth $10 billion total market cap, and that thing goes up to 200 billion, they're going to be like, oh man, I just didn't think it was possible. But we're going to see that a lot, because market cap is a flawed metric, and the amount of supplies that exist, I think, are just going to be completely gobbled up to the point that the price really has no reason besides just to go vertical.
And honestly, people in my comment section or in my Discord or whatever, sometimes people are like, yeah, but do you realize that if XRP hits $10 or $20, do you realize what the market cap will be? And I always want to go like, you guys are so dumb. You guys are dumb. Not in a mean way, but like, yeah, you're kind of dumb. Because like, to be honest with you, do you guys remember that the market cap of these different cryptocurrencies is measured against the value of the dollar?
True.
So $1 trillion in market cap, crypto is eating up fiat money. That's what crypto is doing. It's the replacement for fiat money. So things can go way higher market cap than what you guys are saying. I love you guys. I love all my viewers and stuff, but don't be dumb. Understand that the value is measured against the dollar, and the dollar is going down, and crypto is literally taking over fiat money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you also have all of the hyperinflation. I mean, we literally printed half of the world's money supply in the year of 2019 alone. Might have been 2020, but that calendar year of the COVID pandemic, that entire thing was literally us creating half of the world's money supply. So if 2017 altcoins can get ballooned to these crazy valuations, why is it hard to assume that we can see the exact same thing in another cycle when we've actually created 50% more dollars than ever existed? So a lot of the value of things, I think, is like obviously pegged to the liquidity of the dollar. But the thing about this cycle also is we have the Americans, the Fed that's also going to be doing QE. And if you look at the liquidity cycles of Bitcoin, or I mean the dollar, whenever they create new liquidity, when they add new liquidity into our markets, all of the stock market breaks out, Bitcoin breaks out. All of our cycles have pretty much just been, okay, whenever the Fed starts printing more money, that's when Bitcoin starts going up. So this cycle, we have that going on, as it's always been going on for the Fed. But we also have quantitative easing taking place for China as well. We've never had a period of quantitative easing in China. And they are having such a huge credit bubble right now, mainly because of their Evergrande going bankrupt, which was, their entire backing of their value is real estate, because 90% of Chinese people will own some type of real estate. It's like their value proposition is to get some type of real estate. So when that all started going bankrupt and they were building too fast, they couldn't cover all these outstanding debts, they had no choice but to start QE in the same ways that America got too over leveraged, and the Fed had to do it to keep things afloat. So we have both of the two biggest countries actively participating in QE. We had 50% of the dollar supply that was printed in just the year of 2019 and 2020. All of these factors are perfectly coinciding with capped supplies, deflationary cryptos. And I do believe that we're going to see exactly what all of that turns into when we see this cycle pretty much take footing. We're going to see a lot of ETFs, a lot of institutions adding different coins to their balance sheet. And it's honestly going to be like, 2017 all over again.
It's going to be like 2017.
And if you weren't there for 2017, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the most fun you'll ever have. If this is your first cycle, you will never have more fun in all of your life. Even in 2017, when I made the least amount of money, I had more fun than I've ever had in any of my cycles. As cool as this cycle is going to be, you never get to relive that feeling of watching, going from small investments. A lot of you guys don't really have that much invested. Even if you have like $10,000, $100,000, you can make life-changing amounts of value off of $1,000. Just in the last little bit, I traded $500 into $25,000 that I sold and put back into my long-term holdings. So I was able to just compound a huge amount on my long-term bags off of a $500 play. So if I can do these things, people that are holding really good projects that are destined to see a lot of adoption, they could easily make 100x, multi-100x type of returns. And even a $500 play at that point is relatively life-changing gains. I know for me, if I had an extra 100K at my disposal, I can live off of 100K for a really long time. And, I don't have like very expensive things for the most part. So like I'm a pretty, modest guy, I guess you could say, when it comes to finances. A lot of you guys, you're sitting at 100K, it'd be the same situation. Like, man, I really just took like $1,000 play or a $5,000 play and turned it into six figures. I've seen this happen so many times over and over and over again, to the point it's no longer crazy. It's honestly what's to be expected is we're getting into a cycle like this. The thing that we need to remember is we got to be willing to hold throughout 2025, because it's really easy to get into a really good project that's going to run hard. That's the easy part, is finding the good projects. The hard part is having the conviction to hold when something is just going straight up, a 1,000% green candle. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, do I sell it? Do I hold it? That's the hard part that we've got to basically, deal with going into 2025, because most people are probably, I would argue, but a lot of you guys are sitting on a life-changing hold that really will completely transform your financial futures. However, are you going to be the person that can actually hold to see that thing become the life-changing opportunity that you've, created for yourself? At the end of the day, I've sold things too early a million times. You can't really get mad at yourself for taking profit, even if you see the thing run to life-changing amounts, because you're guaranteeing you're making money. However, don't be somebody that tries to take profits too early into this pump, because I'm telling you guys right now, we're going to see these things get ballooned to valuations that you just genuinely never thought possible.
Yeah, it's going to get overvalued. Right now, in the bigger picture, at least in terms of this cycle, we're still undervalued. Like, we're still under the valuation of what things are going to go to. Once it's overvalued, it's going to be ridiculous. Market caps are going to be way higher than what people are expecting right now. The gains that you're going to make on your trades are going to be way more than what you're expecting. And so don't sell when the whole market's still undervalued, basically, in terms of this cycle.
Which I always tell you guys, focus on the 4-year cycles, because the next obvious question is, well, how do we know when the top is going to be? And to be honest, the only thing that I think has ever accurately been able to predict it has just been the time cycles. And, obviously with the time cycles, they can vary to a certain extent. You don't track Bitcoin based off of cycle tops. It's through the cycle bottoms. But up to this point, we followed the same trend that the last 2 cycles have been on. So for the last decade plus, Bitcoin has perfectly followed the 4-year trend. So, at the end of the day, what that shows is us having a cycle top at the end of 2025, October, November, December, January, somewhere inside of those 4 months. That's where we're looking at a top. Do I think it's a bad idea if you sold in the summer? Not really, because like we always have midway corrections along the entire cycle. The big thing that we're watching is obviously going to be this Bitcoin dominance, which I drew all of this on my last update. And as you guys can see, we've finally broken down from this trend line. So Bitcoin dominance in and of itself is finally breaking down from this level that we're watching. I told you guys extensively how once this chart starts to break down, that's what's going to bring in the alt season, right? And if you look at, this was our 2017 cycle. This was our 2020, 2021 cycle for altcoins. And this next one, obviously we haven't had it all the way yet, but this is going to be the third cycle. So I've always told you guys that I firmly believe that we are heading for another 2017 type of bull run. And the reason why I believed that was because once Bitcoin dominance tops, the next support that it has, the only real support that it has, is all the way back down here. And these are going to be taking us almost basically to the very all-time low of where Bitcoin dominance, peaked at it or bottomed at 35%. So what we're going to end up seeing is this last cycle for the altcoins went from 74% all the way to 39. So it basically had that 40% window where altcoins ran and you were able to make that gain. In this cycle, if we were to only come back down and just retest this support, you're talking about pretty much our last cycle is in terms of alt season happening just to support. Now, if we're talking about this cycle being the first one where Bitcoin dominance falls to a brand new all-time low for the first time since that 2017 cycle, and all we're doing is breaking down from this long-term descending triangle, we're going to have another one of these where it falls off a cliff and goes into bearish price discovery. And it's in bearish price discovery that altcoins will absolutely go insane. And I think that we're seeing that with meme coins basically being the epicenter of all trading volume. We're in a funny money period of time inside of crypto where it really is just retail. And we haven't even seen retail yet. If you guys go and look at Google search trends and type in altcoin, they finally started to get a little bit of publicity, but they're nowhere close to what they were at the peak values of 2017 or 2020. So for those reasons, I really think that we're going to get not only our last cycle inside of this first big breakdown when Bitcoin dominance comes all the way back down to 40%, but after when we bounce, I think that that's where we're going to see this midway correction. Because if we look at the Bitcoin chart and look at over our prior cycles, let's pull up the all-time graph. If we look at all of Bitcoin's prior cycles, we've gone through this midway correction. And this is going to go all the way back to 2017. So Bitcoin, it broke out of its all-time high right here. And altcoins absolutely mooned with Bitcoin when it made this first breakout and pullback. However, once Bitcoin topped here and pulled back, altcoins pulled back, 40%. And then when Bitcoin made another new high, altcoins pulled back and made a lower low. And it wasn't until after Bitcoin finished the secondary correction and went from 3,000 to 20,000 that altcoins finally reversed with it. So what we saw was this midway shakeout. Once Bitcoin made its first major correction after going into a new all-time high, we saw that altcoins also corrected, except the difference was when you're looking at some of these old altcoins from that first cycle. Let's see if we can find this chart. If we're looking at like Stellar Lumens, for example, this was a perfect example of what this did. Altcoins do nothing. They go sideways. Bitcoin breaks all-time highs. They go vertical. And then when Bitcoin finally gets that midway correction, altcoins get absolutely demolished. And they have absolutely insane drops on the way back down. This one was almost 90%, 88%. However, when Bitcoin went for its final blow off top, Stellar Lumens went up another 50x from that point. So we have to be aware that as we get to this first breakout and a new all-time highs, altcoins are going to follow this. Terra Luna in the last cycle. This was one that followed this perfect. Oh, this isn't even the right one. Terra Luna followed this almost to the T in its last cycle. And I was able to compound a lot on that dip because I knew that it was following the same path that even Stellar Lumens did because I made a lot of money off that. They go sideways. They don't do anything. Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. They go vertical. And I made like 50x on this first little breakout. And then it dropped 82%. But the thing is, if you were somebody that just exited out completely, this thing ended up going up and I would have made 1,000x type of returns versus a 50x gain, right? Life-changing nonetheless, but you got to be aware that we always have these midway pullbacks. And so as Bitcoin's breaking out into a new all-time high right now, altcoins are going to make that first major vertical breakout. And then it's after that breakout when Bitcoin pulls back, we're going to have that midway sell-off that I think is going to take place sometime in like, maybe the latter spring of 2025 to early summer. Somewhere right around there. And then, that's going to be the opportunity where we can compound, take our profits, buy back in those dips on the best performing altcoins that have already shown that they're getting a lot of adoption because they will make a new all-time high from there. And it gives us a huge opportunity to be able to compound those gains and go from, if you're somebody that takes $1,000 or $10,000 turns it into 6 figures, 100K, 200K, something like that, and you sell all of that before that midway correction takes place, and you see everything drop 60, 70, 80% on that dip, and you're taking your 100K or 200K and going back in at that, even if they just hit their prior all-time highs, you've already compounded probably 1 to 2x on all of those positions. So instead of 100K or 200K, you're sitting at 400K approximately. And that's before it even goes into a brand new all-time high, which many of them might even make a 10x move into that high. So it doesn't take that much money to make that life-changing gain. You have to understand how the cycles have played out, because if we're somebody that understands that we have these midway pullbacks and it happens when Bitcoin makes that big breakout into new all-time highs, you have to understand that, we're positioning ourselves to take profits, buy back in, and really get that life-changing gain on the final blow off top. That's my plan. That's the way I'm going to be looking at things. I'm not going to go 100% out and exit the market entirely on this first move, but I am planning on taking, a good amount of profit inside of that move and then looking to compound back into the same projects. The only mistake I made in the last cycle with selling those was I wasn't willing to buy back into those dips. And that ended up costing me like literally tens of millions of dollars. So with all that being said, this is, the things that I'm looking at fixing this time around. And I think that, if we understand this, it gives us a lot better of an opportunity to make that same type of a gain for ourselves.
Yeah. So the other thing that you want to kind of think about when you're taking profits is sometimes it's tempting to try to sell your whole position in one order, to try to think in terms of, okay, this is going to be the exact top at this price. And the issue with that is a lot of times it goes higher than you expect it to. And so a good way to get around this, and everybody has their own strategies for playing the market, but a good way to get around this is to use more than one sell order. And if all of your sell orders don't get hit, then you can take those ones that didn't get hit and you can sell at a clear lower high where the market clearly looks like it's topping out. And odds are, even if you don't nail the exact top, you're going to get a really, really good exit position, and you'll be way leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else that's buying the top or holding through the bear market. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing to consider too when you're taking profits, is don't put so much pressure on yourself if it has to be this price point. Just use your head and make sure you have good sell orders. Everybody always dollar cost averages. It's also effective when you're taking profits to try to scale out of the market.
Yeah, because you're never going to nail the exact top. You're never going to nail the exact bottom. Like maybe occasionally you might do it with a certain buy order, but is it likely that that's your whole portfolio that you're going to buy in at the bottom? Of course not. So you have to be willing to just kind of stomach that. Like when Terra Luna broke out, I sold a good chunk at 20x, and then I sold the rest at a 50x. I had $10,000 that I left in the position. That 10K turned into 100K at the top of Terra Luna. So had I have compounded, or had I have even, really compounding, that was my thing. If you're in those big winners that have already broken out really hard, chances are they're, front running for a reason, and they're going to keep having these same type of cycles. So you just have to be willing to, stomach taking your profits, but then not getting too, worried about getting out at one specific sell order, like XRP has to hit $28 or I'm just never going to sell. It's never a bad idea to sell. We're all going to sell too early. We're never going to buy the exact bottom. But the big thing is, if we're willing to take profits on this big breakout that a lot of altcoins are going to have, I got a lot of confidence that you'll have a huge amount that you can go back into compounding, whichever project it is. You didn't need to sell the exact top. It could have ran another 400% before that correction happens. But when that correction happens, you're going to see those profits evaporate, and it'll make a lot more sense in that moment why, I should have just sold and not even worried about the price, because now it's way down here and I could have doubled my bag or tripled my bag. Whatever it is, that happens constantly.
Yeah. Also, I was, when you're looking at the charts on the bigger picture, it's super, super easy to play the market in terms of, okay, when you're zoomed out, like on the weekly or whatever, those big swings that happen are super easy to play. You just dollar cost average in and scale out, right? So in the big picture, the strategy for playing the market is actually super, super simple because it's so evidently clear what's happening on those time frames. So don't try to trade every single swing, and don't try to complicate your trading strategy. Crypto clearly pumps super, super easy to predict in the big picture. So just play those big picture swings, and you're going to make a lot more money than if you're trying to trade in and out all the time, or play every little swing in the market. These big picture moves like this are so easy to position yourself. A child could do it. A kid can do it.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, I've been sharing with you guys Sway and C for a long time, just explaining the basic fractal, how certain altcoins are going to follow each other and they're going to break out together. Some will lag, and that's just the way it goes. Solana in the last cycle, I bought at 60 cents, and the entire time it would kind of front run a lot of the other projects. It would lead, and then Phantom Network that I was holding and Terra Luna that I was holding, they would start to break out. And so there's always going to be certain ones that lead. However, you want whatever that you think is going to be that best coin. Up to this point in layer ones, it's kind of been Sway. This one has been the biggest outperformer for all the layer ones. It's been getting the most adoption, but we know that the chart of C looks exactly the same. So it's got the same money backing it. A lot of the same people are buying it. And that's the reason why these perform like this. So, we can look at, we were watching Sway first starting to break out up here. And then I said, honestly, the better buy would actually be C, because it was all the way back down here at the range lows. So looking at these, it literally followed it exactly the same. There wasn't any difference. When Sway was right here, just retesting at the bottom of this ABC correction, C was right here, just about to break out. And then when Sway made this big breakout to new all-time highs, C broke out and just made this tiny little ABC retest right on that downtrending resistance, exactly the same as Sway did before its all-time high breakout. So now we're starting to see C starting to make that run, and it's just going to keep following the one that's been, outperforming up to this point. It's really easy, and that's the fun part about understanding the cycles. We can get into the outperformer, make this 5x as it is, sitting all the way up here to new all-time high, and we can rotate back into some of the ones that are just lagging it a little bit. This is just one of those easy setups that I called that is now, getting ready to go into a new all-time high. But there's a lot of other setups that are going to be like this. This was just the more obvious one that I was looking at. And looking at C right now, we're just following that point where I think the next move coming is going to be a fairly quick impulse to new all-time highs. And we'll probably end up just doing what this chart already showed. Big run, correct, retest those prior all-time highs as new support, and set up in a lot of the same ways that we've already seen Sway up to this point. It's not super complicated. It's actually really easy to follow along with. And it's exciting because this is literally just showing the way that the rest are going to follow.
D.I.Y, do you grow hair in your bull market, and cut it in bear market?
Actually, yeah. Every time geez, dude, I can.
Don't tell them the signal.
Yeah.
When the top is in. What's Donovan?
That's the top. When I cut my hair at the end of 2020, honestly, it's probably going to be before that, because I got to go to New York and meet my girlfriend's parents, and I'm not trying to look like I got long hair. Yeah, because they're like all traditional. They're not like your typical. They're old-fashioned-esque, I guess you could say. So I'm not trying to look like an idiot when I roll up to their house. So, don't look at that as the end all do all. But if you see me get a haircut at the end of 2025, you should definitely dump all of your bags, because that's just a sign from God. It's not anything to do with me. It's just him telling you.
The greatest. Screw the MACD, screw Elliott Wave, screw market cycles. Once Donovan cuts his hair at the end of 2025,
run.
That's your signal, you guys.
Yeah, I'll buzz it all off.
And by the way, so what do you think about the possibility of an extended cycle?
I personally don't.
Institutions and stuff.
Yeah, I don't follow it personally. Okay.
What's up, Taylor Scott? Good to see you.
Where's he at? Taylor.
What's up, my brother?
Why aren't you here with us? We need to hang out.
I'm actually short on XRP right now, but it's a short-term trade?
Oh,
Taylor?
XRP
Yeah.
Ledger. No, so I had someone
Oh.
in my Discord server reach out to me, and
I didn't see.
what wallet was it? I can't remember. I'll have to go and look into it some more, but he sent me a link to the wallet that you use. But yeah, basically, like the XRP Ledger has their own. I mean, we were talking about this the other day, how they have
Meme
those.
coins and
Yeah. So now we can actually go and trade meme coins on the XRP Ledger. Go Jazz. Yo, I got my autographed Karl Malone hat from the 80s. I'm rocking right now. My girlfriend bought me this when we went to the Jazz game against the Mavericks. So that was cool. Shout out to her. She's probably watching. But what was I going to?
Donovan's whipped, you guys.
Yeah.
He's in love with his girlfriend. I don't know what
I-
he's gonna do anymore.
I was worried.
I'll have to be alone instead of hang out with him.
Yeah, well, she's in New York, so thankfully
I'm just kidding.
we
She's
got
really
some
cool,
time.
so it's all,
No,
it's all
she's
dope.
she's a good one. I was worried that I was too ugly to get a girlfriend. It's been so long. I was like, man, what the heck's wrong with me? Let's go look at Doge.
It wasn't you. It was just the market.
Yeah. All I had to do was make a little money, and then all the women just come out of the woodwork. Just kidding. Shout out to all my ladies that watch my channel. There's like got to be at least 3% of you out there. Dogecoin. Man. All right, ignore that. What kind of idiot got bearish on Dogecoin?
Hey, don't say that.
Oh, man, Doge is so fire, though. I mean, it really is just doing the thing that we always talked about it doing. I told you guys for so freaking long that Bitcoin going into a new all-time high is the Dogecoin prophecy signal. And what happens the second that Bitcoin goes into it? Really, let's go to a log scale, and I'll share with you guys exactly what I mean here. We'll go to a monthly time frame. So when you're looking at Bitcoin, just look at every all-time high breakout that's ever been done. Bitcoin or Dogecoin has outperformed Doge by 500% over this entire time. So if you're zooming out and looking at Dogecoin, let's go 2 weeks here. If you're zooming out and looking at Dogecoin, this was the first move for Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Dogecoin massively outperformed it. Bitcoin went into its new all-time high right there. Dogecoin massively outperformed it. Then you come over to this cycle. Bitcoin went into a new all-time high right here. Dogecoin massively outperformed it the rest of the way. Bitcoin just went into a new all-time high right over in here. Dogecoin is right behind it, about to do the exact same thing. Really, we're like right here in this current cycle, just moments away before it finally, does another one of these. So if you're feeling like Dogecoin doesn't have much more room to go, I mean, people thought that in the last cycle, it, half a cent, and it ended up going all the way to 80 cents. So looking at Doge at 40 cents today, I'm not going to be surprised if Dogecoin hits like $10. It could even go more.
Early in the cycle, it's super easy to be skeptical and cynical of a big move up. And late in the cycle, it's super easy to think it's going to go up forever. So we're early in the cycle. So if you feel like it's can't go any further, just tell yourself, actually, it's the other way.
Mm-hmm.
It can go way higher than I expect. And then later in the cycle, if you feel like it's going to go really high, tell yourself, actually, it's probably the top. Try to flip that around to help you play the market better.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, like when I have something that pumps really hard, my initial thought is, oh man, I need to sell it. So I've already kind of trained myself to want to take profits when I see something pump. So the issue I always have is like holding something long enough to get that huge type ROI. But at the end of the day, if you're somebody that's locking up profits, I mean, I still think it's too early. Like I'm not taking profits on any of my long-term stuff. The only thing I'm taking profits on is meme coins, because those to me are unpredictable. But that's all I've been trading lately, is just completely meme coins. Because if you look at the top volumes on all the chains, they're literally all just meme coins. So if you like honestly messing with anything else outside of meme coins is, I mean, it's just not right. The only other thing I would invest in would be AI, because if you look at the trends, the two things outperforming everything up to this cycle throughout this cycle has been AI and meme coins. So I still think memes are going to continue to do their thing. If Dogecoin's about to go into a new all-time high, there's honestly no reason to expect that meme coins are dead, because really they're just going to get more prevalent in my eyes. You're just going to see more influencers launch them. You're going to see more celebrities look to create them, and all of the same stuff that we've seen in prior cycles, except I just think it's going to be a lot more blatantly obvious. What we need to be looking for, we've already seen meme coins blowing up, and Bitcoin just made a new all-time high. Dogecoin's still below prior all-time highs. So I think that our tolerance for just really funny crap that doesn't, like, just delusional things, I think we need to like bring that up a little bit higher. Like, we think that we've seen delusion, we think that we've seen retail yet. We haven't even gotten close. Like, you're going to see some of the funniest things be worth a lot of money. For example, I mean, let me pull this up. Let me pull it up right. Let's see. How do we do this? These dumb things. I bought a CryptoPunk NFT forever ago, and I'm just holding this. But these are all like, this is literally the same fractal that gold made before the ETF got approved in the early 2000s, and then it went to a new all-time high. This is the exact same chart as the gold fractal, which, if I pull it up here, which one is it?
It's the second one down from the top, I think.
It's all-time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you come over here, this is the same fractal that gold made right before it started to run. Chop, 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 crashes, falls to a new low, and then this little rounded bottom, inverse head and shoulder. This is the exact same point that, I didn't even share my screen. Hold on a second. Where is it? Gold.
It's not sharing. Oh.
Share this tab. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So when gold made its first market cycle, it peaked, and it did this exact pattern. Then it falls to a new low, makes this rounded bottom, and at the end of that rounded bottom is where it goes into a new cycle. If you look at the CryptoPunks chart, it's literally the exact same. It's following the same fractal, which Bitcoin also made that fractal in the 2018 bear market, where it peaked, chop, chop, and then the floor falls. It makes this rounded bottom. It's literally no different. And so I do believe CryptoPunks are going to have a brand new cycle. These will go into a new all-time high. So the funny money type speculation, I think, is back, because if the CryptoPunks are reversing right here, and we've already seen meme coins, I really thought that the CryptoPunks reversing and NFTs would kind of be like, okay, all of the funny money's back. Like, anybody that's willing to spend 170 grand on one of these stupid, ugly looking things, obviously that's just speculative money. And I mean, I really do think that that's where we're at. It's just such a fun part of the cycle.
Let's hope the CryptoPunks artists are not watching this stream right now. They're like, hey, that's not stupid and dumb.
But the artist of that, he sold it. Or, well, I guess that's not even the artist. The two dudes that created him sold it to the Bay-C. What do you think about math? Will it beat all-time high? Shout out for the donation, my friend. Let's go look at it. I don't really know what it is.
Honestly,
math.
Honestly, there's going to be so many meme coins and NFTs, and it's going to feel like 2021 and 2017 kind of combined in a way.
So when you're talking about math, what chain is it on? Because there's one on HBAR, there's one on Base. Base that looks good. I don't know what it is, but drop a comment and let us know which chain you're looking at.
Look good.
If it's this one on Base, that thing looks reversed. It looks like it's just about to send it. But I don't know. I want to confirm before I look up at any other ones. Okay, I hear a ton of PulseChain stuff, so let's go take a peek. Yeah. Oh, where's exited out of it. Hold on one second. Not that. Not that. There it is. Copy. Okay. Here's the GOAT of PulseChain. Everybody knows. The only stable coin that's not stable. So honestly, when I'm looking at P.D.I.Y, we've already made a ton of freaking money off of this thing. If you bought, we bought the bottom of this retest, so it pumped like 10x, 12x approximately. Currently still sitting up 7.5x. But the thing I like about this is it broke out of a parabolic channel. And oftentimes when they do this, assuming support's going to hold, which it probably will, this thing could just fly for another huge pump. And kind of way I was looking at it was this is wave one. I think we'll get one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we'll get one more move in wave 5 of 3, pull back. Then we still have another move to probably come after that could even go higher. So I don't really know, but when I look at this, it just looks to me like the Elliott waves can just like kind of fractal out from here and go really, really high. Considering this is a wave, you can look at it a couple different ways. I thought maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 ABC rather than wave 1, and 2.
You remember what Binance looked like before it did its first cycle?
Yeah, it looks a lot like that.
Kind of looks like Binance before it did its first cycle.
Let's go pull that up. It looks exactly like that.
It's probably on TradingView.
Yeah. Oh, quit it.
Your MacBook is trying to take over.
Yeah, leave me alone. So BNB did this. So if we're looking at Binance Coin, my brother made a ton of money off of this thing.
It was a big pump.
Same concept where you kind of just have this uptrend that's starting, right? Parabolic channel, make these impulse correction, and then right here is where P.D.I.Y was. And so, maybe we're not even, maybe we're like right over in here, maybe we're here. Regardless, I still think we have more upside to come. And chances, the thing is it can go really high. If the whole peg is correct and Richard Hart really is going to bring parity to P.D.I.Y, then it will go to $1 and it still has like 70x to go before it gets there. Maybe not that high anymore. It pumped really hard, but still same stuff. Whichever math is on Coinbase. So whatever math I just showed was the one on Base, but do you mean Coinbase exchange or Base chain? Because those are two different things too. If you guys ask me to cover a token, make sure you guys provide the chain that it's on. But yeah, if it's this math token on the Base chain, then this thing looks fire. It looks like it's reversed and ready to just pretty much go vertical.
Yeah, it does look really good. Looks like a nice 1 and 2 wave before wave 3. I've seen a lot of stuff pump that has a lot of issues here on the ownership and stuff, but it definitely is something to pay attention to. If you see that, you might want to do some research into what problems it has, if there's warnings. But I still see stuff pump that has those warnings on Dex.
I just bought this last night. Oh, it's up again. Yes. Oh, kind of. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm up. Winning. Well, but this is Base Printer. And it's the first reflection token that I've found on Base. And it pays you in USDC. So I've just been getting USDC airdrop to my wallet since last night. And I think I've already made like 50 to 75 bucks. And it hasn't even hardly moved. But it's got a lot of volume, which is what you need for these reflection tokens. The more volume, basically all they're doing is they're taxing the liquidity pool. So if you want to go and buy this, you have to put your slippage to like 5 or 6%. And when it buys, 5% of that counts as a tax that goes back to the token holder. So if you're holding Base Printer, every new transaction that takes place, whether you're buying or selling, a percentage of that is getting distributed back to the token holders themselves. So it's basically like, I don't know, they're Ponzi-esque, I guess, because they rely on new volume coming in to keep paying out rewards. And once the liquidity stops coming in, they kind of just crash. So obviously there's risk involved with that. But these things have made me tons of money. And I only threw I threw $1,000 in. So it wasn't like I was just playing with a small amount. But I bought in all the way back down here. So I'm up a little bit, nothing crazy. But these are kind that when I was looking at it and I saw all of these red flags, I was like, But buy tax and sell tax, that's with any reflection token. Whitelist aren't that crazy. It just means that they gave tokens to themselves. External call, that's the contract that basically pays people out their rewards. So some of it can be explained. However, sometimes you see these red flags. Like I bought this one token, and then the second I bought it, it just withdrew to somebody else's address and it just rugged everybody instantaneously. So those are things that are happening and prevalent. So you got to, watch out a little bit because it is a little bit sketchy depending. Let's see. Dallin has really sharp eyes for patterns.
Well, thank you, tech dude. I appreciate that, man. He's really cool. He's a member of the VIP in Discord, so shout out.
Shout out. Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, for the whole month of December, I'm currently running a sale on my signals for 25% off. So if you guys do want to get access to that, I can actually drop the link. Hold on. I don't remember where it's at. Oh, I closed out. Hold on one second. I'll drop you guys a link. But this will give you 25% off for the whole rest of the month of December. So if you guys have been wanting to join the VIP, want to follow some trades and stuff, then you'll definitely want to get access with this. Okay, let me drop it right here. Oops. Okay, dropping it in. Is that it?
Yeah, we'll probably change the link for the. Yeah, I think it is it though.
Okay, let me know if you guys can click on that link.
I'll try right now. I was watching the stream anyways.
Let's see if that even works.
I've been sharing the stream on my
it works
and stuff. Yeah, it should work.
Yeah, so this will give you guys a 25% discount on it. And I'm going to run this since I was gone traveling throughout the entirety of Black Friday. I'm just going to run this throughout all of December so anybody can get in. So if you guys were watching and want to get into my Discord and stuff, make sure to follow that link below. And where the heck? Yeah, I don't know. I just dropped the link. So if I'm gonna make videos and stuff, and I'll shout it out in the description so you guys can find it and whatnot. But yeah, if you guys do want to join the Discord, running a 25% off discount, you might as well jump on because I haven't ran a discount in like years, like probably ever since I launched it. Not sure if it was looked at yet, but can we look at AVAX? Yes, sir. 3 Diglets. I appreciate the dono. Good to see you back again.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing. Shout out to you guys. We have the greatest viewers and supporters of our channels. Whenever I do a live stream, you guys will donate and be like, hey, thanks for doing analysis on this and stuff. So huge thank you for all the support you guys give, just watching or financial. You don't have to do that, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, realistically, my goal was always to help people make money. And so seeing all the markets breaking out, pretty much following the things that we've been talking about, it makes me excited because I talk to so many of you guys out there that, are just everyday normal people that aren't working with a huge amount of capital. But I know for both of us, it was the same way. And so, like, if we're able to do these things, then I have nothing but confidence anybody else can. And realistically, this is the one cycle where I don't think that you have to have some expert knowledge on things. Like, you can really just get in early to certain projects and actually make that same, life-changing wealth. You'll probably outperform a lot of top traders just because of the way crypto's pumped so hard. But, we just do appreciate having you guys all on board, watching us, supporting. Even some of you guys reach out to me and share me projects that I buy. And so I always appreciate any of it. And it's just my honor to be able to, do this every single day. And I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for you guys helping out my channel in the early portions of the last cycle. You guys blew my channel up in the last cycle. And it was because of all of that I'm able to just pretty much do what I want now. And so I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart anybody that likes, comments, subscribes. Even some lady came back in my last live stream and said that I was an idiot. I still appreciate you too. There's no hate from this side, that's for sure. But let's look at this AVAX.
She bought the top on some meme.
She definitely did.
Bad day for her.
Yeah, she probably sold XRP too early.
Yeah,
she's like, I bought XRP in 2018 and I sold it before it pumped. I hate you.
Well, I mean, on my videos, there's this guy that comments on every other video and says, you're always wrong.
Yeah, he definitely bought something and got dumped on and now just holds a grudge. Man, the amount of times I've bought something and got dumped on instantly after or just straight rug pulled, it's just part of the game, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on who you are. But yeah, AVAX looks fire. AVAX is literally the epicenter of crypto gaming. So like, honestly, I expect that to be a good narrative this cycle that's going to catch on in a big way. Because we kind of saw the rotation in the last cycle, but it was very short-lived. It wasn't really that big. I think it was mainly because of Alex Becker and Elio Trades. Those were the two guys really shilling that. But this cycle, you know, I think that we're going to have real use cases for some of these games. And AVAX sitting just barely below those prior range highs. I think the next move's coming is going to be, you know, pretty quick impulse to new all-time highs. We should be seeing AVAX rallying upwards of like $350 relatively soon. And of course, I'm on a log scale, so it looks a little bit more crazy when you take it off. But this is really the type of stuff that's about to happen. I shared with you guys the Tron chart. It pretty much looked exactly like this. All of these cycles, this is the disbelief phase where we've already had the market run, the crash, everything rounded out. This is the first higher high that happens. First correction, we broke out of downtrending resistance. We retested that as support. So this is the disbelief phase. Everybody was, you know, it's not really going to have a new cycle. Nah, it's just going to fall all the way back down again like it always does. And then this is right when everything starts to go vertical. So AVAX looks really strong. Not as familiar with this chain. I haven't actually bridged over to it. But when it comes to crypto gaming, there really is no better project. So I think that that would be the value, is looking at what are the top gaming projects, what are ones that you could get early into and look to make a bunch of money off of that. But we're basically at an hour. We've got like 3.5 minutes. So
can I say one more thing real quick about
yeah, go for it.
There's a chart right here. Okay.
No, this box. No, the blue box.
The blue box.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I was just gonna say here about AVAX too, was that this chart right here, like Donovan was saying, this is the disbelief phase right here of the market cycle. So even still, a lot of people are going to be questioning whether a vertical move can happen. Just imagine like what happened right here. How many people would have been panic selling and been skeptical that crypto would have had another run? And then it did right after. And that's really a lot, like right here and right here are kind of the same thing, you know, before that big vertical move. So definitely keep your faith, because there's big things coming and we're already seeing the early signs of that. So I just want to say that.
No, it really is. That was a good fractal. I mean, we really are, except I think this cycle is going to be way bigger. I think that this thing's going to look like it'll probably hit like $1,000.
It definitely
could hit multi-thousands. It's I'm telling you guys, this cycle is going to get crazy. It's going to really blow things out of proportions that you didn't think possible. Oh, longtime fan of both you guys. Can you update on XSwap? Yes, they just partnered with Metis today. I woke up to news, or yesterday, one of the two. But either way, I woke up to news on that. Let's share this tab. Actually, let's share this tab. XSwap. So XSwap is the very first project launched by Chainlink, part of their CCIP program, which is basically they're just investing into infrastructure for building on Coinbase, or not Coinbase, Chainlink. But Chainlink is cross-chain centric. Like their whole goal is to be a cross-chain kind of mediary for all of these things. So when we're looking at right now, Chainlink starting to get that bid, it's starting to break out. XSwap is basically going to be the cross-chain DEX and swap platform for Chainlink. So when I'm looking at this, you know, we had this big correction, but there's lots of new volume that's coming in here. And we're also starting to see the market breaking back out. So I think that this thing is about to send it in a really, really big way. Typical listing pump that happens from launch pads. Then you have the big correction. So now that we're done with this correction, I do think that this thing's about to just start breaking out in a really big way, led by Chainlink, of course. But this is the first project Chainlink launched. So it's already backed by Chainlink. It gets shouted out by their main Twitter. With it only having 11.6 mil market cap, I don't think it's accurate. I mean, I don't the fully well, I don't know. So the fully diluted valuation, I don't know.
Undervalued, if that's right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's so cheap.
So to me, this is one of my favorite holds. You know, I've been in since the pre-sale, so I'm just going to hold my bags because they're not even technically all the way unlocked yet. So I'm on a vesting schedule with mine, but I haven't sold a coin. I'm not going to sell a coin until this thing's, you know, way into new all-time highs, because I got nothing but confidence that it's going to. Don't fade Peanut. Dude, he called Peanut at like no market cap.
75 million market cap before it hit $1 billion, and my VIP group, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it hit like 2.5 billion too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I just saw some person in a Facebook group today that was like, hey, I put in $25 into this coin some guy launched on this, and I looked at the thing and she had $2,500 in there, and I'm like, damn, dude, maybe we just need to start throwing $25 around and just seeing what the heck happens with it. It'd be kind of fun. All right, we'll do one more. Paul, you're the man. Appreciate the dono. We will pull up. You're going to be the last one, the final man to get analysis.
He gets the prize. The last chart.
Yeah, you're the chosen one. Unless someone donates more money, then I don't have a choice but to cover yours too, I guess.
Somebody puts $100.
Yeah. Oh, look. I like when I draw something and it just happens. It's been so long since I drew this. I don't know what that was. I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Slipped on your desktop.
We're going to ignore this. Just kidding. But no, Vet is fire. They're always at the UFC events sponsoring. Honestly, that's about all I know of VeChain besides
ABC.
their
Look at that ABC
classic.
correction. It looks so good. It's like perfect. It's like a perfect ABC correction.
Massive extended 5. Yep. Massive A, B, C back down. Maybe that's C either way.
Double bottom, breakout.
Have this first little wave, retest. Yeah, this thing's about to gig ascend to probably the top of wave B at least.
Yeah, for the short.
Looks like it's retesting this high, kind of. Wouldn't be surprised if it does something like that.
Big picture, it's definitely going to break its old all-time high.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking something like this.
Yep.
This correction could come back down and actually retest the bottom of wave A, get fairly close back down to this prior high, but this is kind of along the lines of what I'm watching. The thing is, though, don't be surprised with some of these. Like, what if we don't see this midway correction? Because that's something that can happen. Like Dogecoin, for example, it pumped really high up here, back up to the range highs, and then started a tiny correction. So it could actually break all the way back above wave B and just hold wave B as support before going higher.
Yep.
Like, we're at that point of the cycle where you're not really trying to pick the tops in the short term, just because like they are going to outperform what you're initially expecting. And even if they don't in the very short term, honestly, it doesn't matter, because like this thing will be at a new all-time high relatively soon. I've got nothing but confidence in that.
Yeah, me too. It looks really good. Nice double bottom breakout, and everything about it looks really good. I like VeChain a lot. It's a nice chart.
Well,
why is your friend smiling?
I don't even know.
He bought Doge at $0. Well, that's why I'm smiling.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean, bro?
If you buy Doge at $0, it's worth like 40 cents. One guy has asked a pastor that, hey, why am I losing money in cryptos? Then pastor replied, my son, you are the chosen one.
Yeah, that pastor's kind of a false prophet. Because if he was honest, he would have said your trading strategy sucks.
Yeah, that's a false prophet. We don't trust those. Oh, man. Well, we're over an hour. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. Love the support. Appreciate the donations for everybody. I'm going to jump back. Well, I'm going to make some videos for tomorrow and the next day. So expect a normal upload. But then, once a week, I'm going to go back to my streams. I've been back in town, haven't been traveling and doing some of my own stuff. So expect normal, frequent uploads. Remember that if you guys do want to follow the 25% discount, I have dropped a link inside of the chat so that you guys can go ahead and find that. But either way, I appreciate the support. Love everybody here. Excited for what's coming. I think we're all about to make a life-changing amount of money. So shout out to High Altitude Investing. Let me hurry and get his YouTube channel up here so that you guys can go and find him. I'm in YouTube Studio. Let me go ahead and pull up his channel so that you guys can all go ahead and find him. Go and subscribe. But he's going to cover a lot of the same stuff that I do. Really, I learned everything I learned at the beginning came from following along with him. So you guys will definitely appreciate his analysis. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you guys. I love you.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was fun to do this stream and to be part of this exciting time in crypto. Things are looking really good. It's only going to get better and more profitable from here. And yeah, definitely keep buying everything. You're going to make a bunch of money. So keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track, everybody. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. And as always, stay profitable out there.
Yeah, stay profitable, you guys.
Oh, I got to end the stream first.
Yeah.